What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about the future of Star Wars. That the Star Wars movies, these movies that were originally planned to release in December of 2022, December 2024, and December of 2026, that they are still on. However, it doesn't seem like there is any clear plan in place. I kind of want to talk about that, about this kind of just non-direction that this franchise is going. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of people on YouTube that rant about Star Wars, and we've had our time as well, right? We've talked pretty negatively about Star Wars when it came to Rise of the Skywalker, and we made so many videos about it. But let me say this. I'm a massive, diehard fan, okay? I mean, there's just no other way of putting it. I love Star Wars to death, and I always will. But I'm just tired. I think a lot of people are tired. And even if you thought that these movies, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, if you thought they were fine or they were good, that's totally cool, okay? I'm actually very happy that you thought that, and that's totally awesome. But I think we can all kind of agree, at the very least, we can all agree that I really don't think it had any direction, that those movies didn't have any direction with Kathleen Kennedy at the helm in terms of, hey, we're going to give it to these three different directors, but we're not going to have them talk to each other. We're not going to have them help each other out at all. They're just going to take it in their own direction. But they're mainline Star Wars movies, right? They're numbered Star Wars movies. They're all connect. They all have the same characters. They're all going from a beginning, middle to end, and they should connect. But we're not going to do that. And I mean, obviously, yes, they did, but I think they could have been done so much better. And now, it's good news. I guess it's good news at the end of the day for a lot of different reasons, right? One, it's more Star Wars, and I guess you could say more Star Wars is always good. For people that bash the movies, it's just more opportunities to bash them. For people that love to talk about the movies, it's more opportunities to talk about. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is good no matter who you are, right? Because we can either bash them, we can either talk good about them, but Star Wars is going to live on. But just the fact that, okay, there's been a lot of, internal drama over there at Lucasfilm with Kathleen Kennedy, with all of the drama surrounding that, and I don't know if it was ever, thought that these movies could have been pushed, but, losing director after director and just not seeming to have a clear plan of the future, and then, again, I don't know how many people were saying it, or if anybody was saying it, if anybody was worried about that first one. Because, again, when it comes to movies, yes, December 2022 is far in our life. It's far away, okay? It's very, very far away. A lot can happen before holiday 2022, okay? A ton of stuff can happen. But in terms of movies, it's not that far out. It really is not that far out. You'd have to start filming it, at the latest, the second half of 2021. In order to do that, you would need to have everything starting to be in place in the beginning of 2021. Now, that is also still a year away, but you'd probably want directors, a idea of what you're doing, with a cast, a lot of stuff finished up by the end of this year, so that going into next year, you get pre-production started, and then you start filming the second half of the year, finishes around Christmas, and then you have a whole year to edit and get it ready. So that's generally how movie production works, which is, it's fine. So they do technically have some time. It's just that with losing D&D and I guess there's been rumors that she's been kicked off the Mandalorian set, and all of these different things. It's just crazy, and even Steven Spielberg stepping down. There's just a lot of things that make me feel very uneasy about not that I needed any additional help with that, right? But let me say this, though. Although I was not a fan of The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker, I see positives in them. There definitely were good parts to them or good ideas to them, but just as a whole, neither of them did anything for me, and actually probably ruined Star Wars for a lot of others. But again, even if you take that part out, the idea of new movies that are not part of the main timeline excites me. I think it should excite a lot of people, no matter which direction they go. And we'd ideally think it would be even earlier in terms of the prequels. It wouldn't cross over the High Republic stuff yet, right? Although I think we will eventually get that stuff in maybe after those three movies, or even maybe the third movie. But there's a lot of potential. And so again, even if you loved or hated the last two movies, there's still room to be optimistic, and there's still room to be excited about where it's going. But then with all this drama of losing directors and not really having a clear plan at all, and basically being a Wild West, right? Literally Star Wars at this point is a Wild West. It's let's just throw directors and writers together. Let's make a movie about Exegol for some reason. Isn't that a rumor? What is what's the plan? What is the plan? Why are you just, again, throwing, like you're throwing a dartboard, you're throwing a dart at a dartboard, and it's got directors' names on them, and then you throw another one at a different dartboard, and it's just got writers, and you match them up, and you say, I don't care what you make a Star Wars movie. Then we have Rian Johnson's stuff that's still technically going on, but let me tell you right now, it won't. I mean, there's 0% chance those movies ever make it out. They're literally if you walk from on the street, like off the street into Lucasfilm, and you are a director and you're going to direct a Star Wars movie, you're going to go first over Rian Johnson. That seems to be what's happened. Literally any director that they've ever talked about for Star Wars movies have always been penned to go first, and then Rian Johnson would go after, which, again, makes it pretty clear that it's just absolutely not happening. And while that's good, I like, me personally, who doesn't like Rian Johnson, that's totally fine, but in terms of like a larger Star Wars, in terms of like a connected thing, it's again bad. Like, where's the communication? It's kind of a lowball thing to him. Like, does he at least know this? At least his movies would be a trilogy, so they would all connect, whereas the plan now are these three movies, the 2022, 24, 26. Chances are they're not even going to link up. They may be around the same time period, but they're not going to be numbered. I don't think they're going to be numbered, and they also probably won't actually be a trilogy like amongst themselves. They'll probably be basically 3 spin-off movies, and that's okay. That's not the worst thing you could probably do, so I guess that's fine, but it just is very clear to me that Star Wars doesn't have direction. You go to the theme park, which, say what you want about Galaxy's Edge, but even there, it's like, why pick episodes 8? Why pick the newer movies? Why pick 7, 8, 9 as your time period for them? Because you're stuck. Like, you're leaving out 6 other movies. You're leaving out what's popular now in the Clone Wars. You're leaving out what is also popular now and will be in The Mandalorian. You're leaving out, if you want to do prequel stuff, which these books, High Republic, even if you do Old Republic, any of that kind of stuff, you're leaving all that stuff out. Like, even the theme park, even the gosh darn theme park didn't actually have a plan because they chose to limit themselves to such a small window that eventually, I mean, if it wasn't stale like 5 days in, it's going to eventually get stale because there's nothing you can do with, I mean, yes, there are going to be some I guess we heard that. I don't think that's been confirmed, though, of stories of like Rey and Finn and Poe like after Episode 9. So I guess there's stuff they can still do with those characters. I wouldn't rule out, again, we've even talked about, I wouldn't rule out in Episode 10. I wouldn't rule out, like, Rey coming back, something like that. I wouldn't rule that out, but theme park, books just being also a Wild West. Let's just throw writers into a room where they don't want to make it pro-war, even though war is literally in the name of the entire franchise. Diversity, all that kind of stuff. Let's just literally do whatever, because eventually something is going to stick, and maybe that's their plan. Let's literally not have a plan, because at least then, firstly, expectations are not even existent. There won't even be, if we don't have a plan, how can you have expectations for us? Because nobody knows what we're doing. We don't even know what we're doing. So actually, it's genius. And also the plain fact of it is, and maybe they are thinking like that. We have 3 different movies, 3 sets of directors and writers, 3 different time periods, 3 different sets of characters. Hey, maybe one will stick. Maybe one will be universally loved. Because again, say what you want, maybe some people did like Episode 8, and they did. And some people did like Episode 9. And again, that's fine, but they weren't universally loved. And I guess you could say, well, to be fair, what movies were universally loved for Star Wars? I would say the only 3 are 4, 5, 6. I thought Rogue One was as well. I loved Rogue One. Maybe 7 too. I think 7 was kind of universally really liked. But as the sequel movies or the sequel trilogy came out, more people started bashing 7, which I don't really think is fair. And then also people just have this negative opinion of Rogue One all of a sudden, when I thought that's one of the best Star Wars movies ever created. So I guess you could say, well, not everybody's always had, like, very few of those movies. And even going back 30, 40 years ago, you'd have to go back to get universal praise for them. But the TV shows do it. People universally like Mandalorian. People universally like Clone Wars. it's not impossible. In fact, it is very possible with the right people, with the right plan, and I just hope eventually they figure that out. But so again, I mean, it's good news. Star Wars is on the small screen. They're killing it on the small screen. Clone Wars is so good. Mandalorian is so good. I think even the Cassian Andor show will be good. Obi-Wan, if they figure that stuff out, I mean, I think just alone it'll be at least solid. Even if it's a complete train wreck, I think it'll at least be like a fun experience. So they're doing fantastic on TV. They just really need to like figure it out movie-wise. But at the end of the day, I mean, we still get Star Wars stuff, and that still, to an extent, is a positive. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Are you excited for these 3 movies in a couple years starting in December? What do you think the plan is for them? Anything you guys want to talk about Star Wars related, let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And again, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video.